Hi there, and welcome to As I See It. Today, we're going to talk about task management. As Mark Twain once might have said or written, famously or not, if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat two frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. Or, in other words, do the worst part first. The internet tells me that this is actually a controversial opinion, that in order to get moving and started on the right foot, you should start with the task that you're most comfortable with and then let your momentum build from there. But for me, all that really does is send me from one email to the next and one task to the next, while the frog is just sitting there in front of me, completely uneaten. My logical brain tells me that the thing to do really here is to just go ahead and eat that stupid frog, because then it won't bother me anymore because I ate it. But my gag reflex says, heck no, put off eating that frog for as long as is humanly possible. So my dread builds, and time passes, and the procrastinating continues, and then I stress about the fact that time is passing, and then at some point I come out of my doom spiral and I realize that if I had just done the task in the first place, it would all be done by now and I wouldn't be engaged in this endless cycle of despair. But then I beat myself up about that, and I create more wasted time, and more bitterness and recrimination builds up, et cetera, and the frog is still there. So knowing, as I do, that this is how I tend to react to tasks that I don't like very much or that I'm not looking forward to, you would think that I'd be able to just eat that frog every time, right? The incentive would be to just get that thing done. And yet, no go most of the time. So I found a few different ways to deal with this, and I'm going to share them with you now. Mostly they involve turning that frog into a chocolate frog or whatever your favorite frog flavor happens to be. And that was quite an unanticipated tongue twister, let me just tell you. The first thing you can do is shift your viewpoint. So stop thinking about the task and then think about your sense of relief and accomplishment when the task is finished. The second thing you can do is also challenge the ickiness of the task. Maybe that conversation is just as likely to go well as it is to go badly. Or maybe that insurance adjuster is going to be reasonable instead of unreasonable. Or maybe once you finally get started, your flow state is going to take over and the whole thing is going to go by like it was no problem at all. You can also, finally, and if you have the luxury of an overnight to prepare, give yourself a jump start on the icky task. So you can jot down some thoughts about the task, any aspect of the task. You can write down a pithy point that you think you'd like to make or a turn of phrase that's kind of going to get your creative juices flowing, anything that you might need to accomplish. But if you put something on paper the night before, you'll get your subconscious mind working on the problem, hopefully while you sleep, and then it'll stop you from having to face a blank slate in the morning. You can effectively pick up where you left off. You should also plan to reward yourself once the icky job is done. So imagine watching that cat video with no guilt or walking that extra block to get the really good cup of coffee. And then at that point, once you've got all of your systems set up and in place, it's time to start the icky task. Eat that frog. Close your door, turn off your notifications, put your phone away, and just go. Trick yourself maybe by committing to only 15 minutes. Set a timer if you need to do so. 9 times out of 10, that alarm is going to give you a jump scare because you were finally in the flow and you're ready to finish that task. So next time you've got that icky frog to face, try some of these tips and let me know how it goes for you. Also, you can feel free to share your favorite flavor of frog in the comments.